So we have our main hero, Zenkaiger, Kaito. He is well. How would you describe him actually?
He is very hyper, but not in like an annoying way, which is a problem that a lot of
Leaders
former
have had.
Reds have had, where they've been like extremely hyper, but to the point of just being obnoxious. Where Kaito, thankfully, has not gotten that level yet. Hopefully, never will.
Hopefully,
No, he's honestly right now, as of the first 5 episodes being out, he's kind of just chill, honestly. Like, other than his hyperness, I can't really say there's like too much to him yet. I mean, he has this whole thing about his parents being missing and whatnot, but Japan, what else is new? All their protags have to have some kind of parental missing somewhere.
That's a cliche, not only in Japan, but in Western media as well. Yeah. So you got any transforms into Zenkaiger with the the transformation device, which we'll probably swing back to later. Then we have Durat. It's a gun, because everything has to be a gun since Kyoryuja. Wait, gun. Anyway, yeah. Then we have Duran, who is the "How do you do, fellow kids" meme from the first episode.
If you guys think we're joking, watch the subtitles for this show. They literally just go, "Hey, how do you do, fellow youngins?"
Duran is pretty good so far. He's been like
the dad.
He's kind of like the dad figure for Kaito, since his dad isn't there. But yeah,
Daddy.
I mean, and something else we'll sort of get to later. We'll also touch on with all these is that because Duran does. Okay, we should also probably explain like the whole thing about the Kikanoids and everything. Basically the whole show's premise is there's like this evil force which is called the Toji Tendo, I believe.
Yep.
The Toji Tendo High Aristocrat. They're basically like the upper class of their respective world.
Yeah, and they basically developed this technology which allows them to lock parallel universes into gears, and they use that to combine with their foot soldiers to create monsters to basically, yeah. So they have like a theme. So there was a mushroom one, there was the Ice Age one.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
God damn! I knew that. I knew that was coming up. Anyway, but what happened was, so the reason celebrating the 45th anniversary, what the Toji Tendo did was, apparently now all the Super Sentai teams are now in different universes, even though that was established before, but who cares about continuity? Anyway, so they locked all the Sentai into gears, and so that's why I think they're like not helping in the series themselves, kind of like what Zenkaiger did with the Ranger Keys. Because, they lost their powers and they became the Ranger Keys, which the Zenkaiger used. But anyway, Kaito's world was the last one, but due to an error, the worlds were the Kikanoids, which are like the robot people, and Kaito's worlds were fused together. So, and instead of trying to use the gears to lock them, the Toji Tendo decided to openly invade and use the gear technology. So basically, the Sentai formula.
Yeah, the traditional way, which 9 times out of 10 usually ends in failure for the evil team. But let's not tell them now. Let's make them think they've won.
Yeah. So the rest of the team, Kaito is the only human so far yet of the Zenkaigers. We'll swing back to that element later on, probably. Good old Two Kaiser. Anyway, so
spoilers, honey.
Mm-hmm. Whatever. So you got
Gaon.
So you got Duran, who's and you got Gaon, who's like It's kind of hilarious considering who voices him in Japanese. He is voiced by Kaito Yuki, who's like one of the most popular voice actors in Japan. He voices many characters in anime, like Eren Yeager, Todoroki from My Hero Academia, and Issei from High School DxD. Which is funny because Gaon basically loves humans as much as Issei loves the chest. So yeah,
And to those who don't know, to Issei, the chest is a church.
the chest is good. Anyway, yeah, so Gaon is basically I don't really know how to feel about Gaon so far because he's just he hasn't really done as much, I think, as the others, or because Duran's definitely had the most screen time outside of his first episode. He's had the most focus out of the others because he had the first episode. There was also his time in the 5th episode. But yeah, so yeah, he's just sort of because we're in the early episodes, we haven't gotten that much on the other Kikanoids be on their like initial episodes, but yeah, no. One of the things about the show is it has given us great gift material.
Yeah, the comedy is on point with this show.
Most of the time.
Point we mentioned a mushroom monster earlier. Literally, the guy just turns around and says, "Hey, you, go kill them." And he turns around again. I mean, you.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then we got Majin, who is the meme. So she's basically
the sweet little angel.
Yes, we must protect the Majin. Anyway, Majin is based. Oh yeah, I should also mention something else. The Kikanoids, when they transform into they don't transform into traditional spandex suits. They transform into more armored robotic suits, and all 4 of them so far are based on previous Sentai's because Sentai Mecha because anniversary. So, Duran is based on Daijujin. Gaon is based on Gao King, I think.
Yes.
Majin is based on Magi King.
Magic King.
Magic King, and Vroom is based on, which we'll get to in a Vroom. What's the Boken mech called?
Yeah.
I don't know, Daiboken, I think it's called, or something like that. Anyway, if it's not, but yeah.
It is.
Yeah, Daiboken. But yeah, with respect to so Majin is basically more like probably more like the memed character because she's the girl in the team and is adorable, and we must protect her. Also, she's probably like one of the funniest members based on some of the bits that she's had. Anyway, and then there's Vroom, who was the last to be introduced, and he was
Rough.
basically what?
He was just a rough introduction.
Yeah, he was a janitor who worked for the Toji Tendo, but he was like, but he found out stuff about like how because the gear when the Zenkaigers defeat the monster, the gear gets destroyed in the parallel universe it's based on is released. So, but he found out and told the evil scientist guy of the Toji Tendo, which we'll get back to in a bit again. He basically was like, okay, I'm just gonna off you because and if anyone finds out like my boss, then I'll get in trouble. Vroom is like, I think the thing about Vroom is like to start off with, he was a bit irritating because his whole quirk is he's curious about things. So he's like, "What's this? What does this do?" And but I think he's sort of calmed down since his introduction. He probably like Scotty said had the most like roughest introduction out of the 4 of them.